He's announced it at last, and not before time.
Delighted to hear it, Carter. May one ask who has announced what?
If you can't be bothered to turn up for morning chapel, I don't see why I should tell you what you've missed, and if I do.
Carter, you are absolutely right to rebuke me. I feel a great sense of shame. I have no right to know your exciting news.
Enlighten now.
Neither has Barnaby. Ignorance shall be our punishment.
Well, it's Algy Herries, of course. He's definitely retiring at the end of this term. They'll appoint a new headmaster as soon as possible after that. He's made up his mind at last.
Well, well, well. That is sad news. He's only about 85, isn't he? Barnaby and I were hoping he'd go for his century, weren't we, Barnaby?
He's not as old as that, as well you know. Well, I think he's made a very wise decision. Obviously, he wants to enjoy his retirement, and he sees the need to give way to new blood.
New blood, eh? Sounds a bit gory. Any particular blood in mind? You don't by any chance see yourself as our revered leader, do you, Carter?
Well, I thought I'd have a crack at it, yes, in point of fact. Something funny about that, Barnaby?
No, not at all. You'd, convert us into some sort of military academy, I expect, would you?
Don't think that's funny, Barnaby. I'd make changes, of course.
I really think he fancies his chances, Barnaby.
Well, who else will they choose if they're going to go for an internal appointment? You're the wrong age now.
And the wrong temperament.
And Barnaby and Irvine are quite happy enough where they are, I reckon.
Indeed, yes.
So, there you are.
Carter, I hate to introduce an element of doubt and uncertainty into all this, but if I had any say in the appointment, I'd say that a very strong candidate would be David Powlett-Jones.
PJ, you're mad.
Oh, you're sadly wrong there, Carter. Very strongly fancied, isn't he, Barnaby?
What? Oh, yes, very. One hears his name mentioned everywhere.
You're not serious.
Care for a tiny wager? 10 shillings, perhaps? You back yourself, if you care to take the risk, and I'll back David. The bet's off if an outsider gets it. No? Oh, well, quite understand.
Damn it, Howarth. You're on.
You don't seriously think PJ's got a chance, do you?
Worth 10 bob to see Carter's face, then. For a man of means like myself. Still, wouldn't it be fun if he did beat Carter to it? I do hope I'm not disturbing you.
Oh, no. Any excuse to stop writing. Have some gin.
Thanks. I've done rather a silly thing, David. Young Carter was being quite unusually insufferable this morning, and I found myself betting him 10 bob that you'd be the next headmaster of Banfield.
Me? Oh, dear, that was silly.
I don't suppose you consider giving me a run for my money.
I wouldn't want to run against you.
Oh, no danger of that. As Carter delicately reminded me, I'm the wrong age for the job. Not that I ever saw myself pontificating from platforms or selling the virtues of this little monastery to tearful mothers and pot-bellied papas.
You do make it sound attractive.
Strangely enough, I think you could do it. Oh, not in the Herries style, of course, that's unique, but I think the place could do with a bit of youthful enthusiasm, and one prefers the devil, one knows. I'd be quite content to work out my days here with you as head. So, I quite understand. If the whole idea revolts you, I'll just say goodbye to my 10 bob and hope that some outsider pips Carter to the post. My dear fellow, don't give it another thought.
You don't really think I got a hope in hell, do you?
Well, you've served successfully under Herries. You've got a damn good degree. Unless the governors want a complete change of direction, you must be in with a chance.
Yes, but I'm only 31, you know.
I see I'm tempting you. Well, let's see. Only 31. Brilliant young man with a sense of tradition. How does that sound?
Oh, yes, very convincing. Except I'm not a brilliant young man.
I'd say you're the nearest we've got. With a bit of luck, the governors won't be able to tell the difference.
You know, I'd love to give Carter a fight for it.
Not literally, I hope.
Oh, no, not this time. I gather you heard about that ridiculous flare-up I had with him.
Oh, we've forgotten all about that.
I haven't. I behaved like a complete lunatic.
You know, in my languid way, I admire you fellows who manage to get up such a head of steam. Very invigorating. Trick seems to be pointing you in the right direction. The future of Banfield now. Whether it's to be turned into an exam factory or remain a place fit for human beings like you and me. Now that does seem worth getting steamed up about.
All right. I'll apply.
Splendid. You realize, of course, you're going to have to work for it.
What do you mean?
Well, you don't imagine you could just put in your application, sit back and watch everybody admiring your virtues, then stun the governors with your brilliance at the interview, if you get that far.
Are you talking about canvassing?
Oh, that's a crude word.
I'd rather not have anything to do with that.
You mean you want to hand it to Carter on a plate? What do you think he's doing?
Oh, I can well imagine.
We know he's got Alderman Blunt in his pocket, and he or Blunt will work on a couple of those sleepy old fence squatters.
Will Harry's ever say in it?
There you are, you see. Not so difficult once you start, is it? Harris doesn't have a vote, but unofficially he'll have enormous influence. Then in a little while you might find Brigadier Cooper in your corner. Ever since that row over the war memorial, he's thoroughly approved of you. Because he sees you as an arch traditionalist. Mustn't disabuse the poor old chap, must we?
You've got it all worked out, haven't you?
Bamfield's armchair Machiavelli.
Well, he's announced it at last, and not before time.
Delighted to hear it, Carter. May one ask who has announced what?
If you can't be bothered to turn up for morning chapel, I don't see why I should tell you what you've missed, and if I do.
Carter, you are absolutely right to rebuke me. I feel a great sense of shame. I have no right to know your exciting news.
Enlighten us.
Neither has Barnaby. Ignorance shall be our punishment.
Well, it's Algy Herries, of course. He's definitely retiring at the end of this term. They'll appoint a new headmaster as soon as possible after that. He's made up his mind at last.
Well, well, well. That is sad news. He's only about 85, isn't he? Barnaby and I were hoping he'd go for his century, weren't we?